My adventurous and optimistic Sagittarius friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Sagittarius, this week you may sense a tension stirring just beneath your usual optimism, a feeling that something is pressing you onward, even as a quieter part of you wonders how much you can truly carry. It's not that you doubt your spirit or your drive. If anything, you know yourself as someone who rarely backs away from a challenge. Yet lately, fatigue gathers at the edges of your enthusiasm. Perhaps you notice how a single moment can feel stretched, as if you're trying to hold both the anticipation of what's next and the weight of what's unfinished. There's restlessness, but also a subtle ache, a wish for forward motion without the friction. You might not speak about this aloud, but it's there, shaping your posture, coloring your choices, and asking for your attention between the lines of daily life. You carry a strong desire to prove yourself, to move, to act. Still, there's an undercurrent. Maybe it's longing, maybe it's uncertainty, that keeps you from plunging ahead without pause. In this quiet tension, your week begins. You step into these days with the force of the chariot behind your actions, even if you aren't always conscious of it. There's a sense that you are steering yourself, sometimes with clear intent, sometimes simply because you must. Your energy is focused, your eyes are set on a horizon. But the inner reality is more complicated than sheer willpower. You might recognize a duality inside. Part of you hungry for progress, part of you bracing against resistance within and without. This is not a time of recklessness nor of surrender. Instead, you are in that rare space where drive and discipline meet, where your own determination becomes both your engine and your restraint. The world around you may see confidence, but only you can feel the subtle trembling in your hands as you hold the reins. Each day, you decide again to move forward, knowing that movement is not always as smooth as you wish. There's an unspoken question in your chest. How much of this direction is truly chosen and how much is necessity? The chariot's energy is not about brute force, but the delicate art of balancing urges and obstacles. You bring together competing needs, rest and effort, hope and caution, trying to keep them in conversation rather than conflict. Sometimes you sense a rush of pride for how far you've come. At other times you wonder if you are driving the chariot or if the chariot is driving you. Anxiety flickers at the edges of your confidence, reminding you that your current pace, while admirable, is also demanding. Underneath it all, there's a longing, not just for victory, but for meaning in the journey. The path ahead seems clear, yet the cost of every mile weighs on you, even if you rarely admit it. This week, your inner state is one of propulsion, a deep need to keep going, to steer yourself, to find purpose through momentum. In this, you recognize your own strength and also your own limits. From this inner landscape, your path for the week emerges almost naturally. The drive you feel cannot help but shape the events and pressures that meet you. When your heart is set on movement, the world responds with challenges that ask you to prove your resolve. If you feel tension, it finds its echo in the friction of daily life. So the inner push toward progress becomes the outer dance with difficulty, a choreography of desire and resistance unfolding step by step. Moving into the week, the 9 of Wands appears as the world's answer to your resolve. Here, the pressures are real and unmistakable. It may feel as if you are defending hard-won ground, bracing for the next wave of effort, even as your energy thins. There's a momentum that keeps you upright, but it is matched by the friction of obstacles, setbacks, or sheer exhaustion. Perhaps you notice how the responsibilities you've gathered now stand in a row before you, each one a reminder of what you've already carried and what still demands your vigilance. The environment around you is not just a backdrop. It meets you with challenges that test your endurance. You might sense that others see you as strong, unwavering, perhaps even unbreakable. Yet, only you know the stories behind each scar, the weight behind each guarded glance. There's a sense of being close to the edge, maybe not of collapse, but of being stretched to your full capacity. This isn't about defeat, it's about the raw honesty of what it costs to keep standing. You may notice moments where old wounds ache, where doubts try to slip through the cracks in your armor. Still, something in you persists. The friction you meet this week is as much internal as external. You want to hold on to what you've built, but also to protect yourself from taking on even more. There is a palpable sense of vigilance, the kind that comes from experience, from knowing what it means to fight for your place. The path is not easy, but it is familiar. Through the pressure, you discover exactly how much strength you have gathered from past trials. Yet you also feel the longing for a softer rhythm, a space where effort is met with rest. The events of this week ask you to reckon with your own momentum, to notice where you push forward and where you might be holding on out of habit. It is a time of testing, but also of recognizing the quiet wisdom that comes from having endured. This is not a loop without end. What arises from the pressure of the week is not predetermined. The potential in front of you depends entirely on how you meet this moment. If you respond from habit, the cycle continues. But if you engage with awareness, with a conscious recognition of what you feel and why, you can discover something different at the edge of effort. The threshold between fatigue and fulfillment is narrow, but it is real. In this space, new possibilities unfold, shaped by your willingness to notice what is truly yours to carry. At the edge of your experience, the Ten of Wands appears, not as a burden to be feared, but as an invitation to reflect on what you are choosing to hold. Growth, in this context, is not about adding more, but about seeing clearly. You might find yourself noticing the difference between responsibility and obligation, between what you take on out of purpose and what arrives through old patterns. The load you carry is real, but it is not fixed. If you meet this moment with honesty, you may realize that certain weights can be set down, or at least carried differently. The invitation is not to abandon your commitments, but to honor your own limits without apology. There is strength in recognizing when enough is truly enough. Through this, you discover a new kind of resilience, one that comes from discernment as much as from effort. This week, your potential is shaped by your willingness to pause, to ask yourself which pressures are necessary and which have simply become familiar. As you do, you open the door to a gentler form of growth. You might still feel the weight of responsibility, but it is balanced by the knowledge that you are allowed to adjust your pace. The Ten of Wands marks a turning point. When you meet your experience with conscious attention, the path can become lighter, even if the journey is far from over. Growth here is a quiet realignment, a chance to choose what matters most, and to let the rest find its proper place. Looking back across the week, you can see how each stage, the drive of the Chariot, the grit of the Nine of Wands, the reckoning of the Ten of Wands, forms a single arc. You begin with movement, fueled by determination and a desire for meaning. The world meets you with challenge, asking you to stand your ground, to persevere through fatigue and friction. At the peak of effort, you are offered a choice: continue as you have, or pause long enough to notice what can be changed. In this reflection, there is no judgment, only the gentle reassurance that your strength is not measured by how much you can carry, but by your willingness to care for yourself as you care for your commitments. As the days unfold, the tension that began the week does not vanish, but it softens. You find space to breathe, to recognize your own resilience, and to trust that meaning is not found in endless striving, but in the moments when you listen to your own needs. There is a quiet comfort in knowing that you are allowed to move at your own pace, to choose your own battles, and to rest in the assurance that growth comes not from struggle alone, but from the wisdom of discernment. As the week closes, let this be your anchor. You are strong, you are capable, and you are allowed to find your own way through. Actionable insights for Sagittarius this week. Notice when your body asks for a pause and gently try listening. Let yourself complete one task before picking up another. Consider what feels truly yours to carry, just for today. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I am present with what I feel. Each step I take is enough for now. My limits guide me toward clarity and strength. I trust my pace, and I am steady. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.